Yo, what's good, guys? Hope you all are doing well, and welcome to another live, right? So in this live, we're gonna do a pre-market analysis on S&P 500. I have a live trading session with all of my students in about, let's see, what time is it? So we have the live in about an hour, right? So I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of my time before, before I get zen for the live equities market open here at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope you guys are all doing well. Hope you guys can hear me. It looks like we are good to go. Let's go ahead and hop right into it, right? Let's get right into it. So to answer the question that a lot of people have been asking me, when are the live trading passes going to drop? So the live trading passes are going to drop on Monday. All right, this coming Monday. We're finishing up a couple of things with my team. My team is actually in here looking at the news right now in preparation for our 9:30 live with our students. We have Jonathan and we have Chris in here right now, right? So they're saying hey to you guys. Hope you guys are saying hey back, right? So the passes are going to be live this coming Monday. I'm super excited to trade with you guys. We're going to go over some trades that were taken yesterday, right, during the AM session and the PM session. The AM session, we had a break-even trade. The PM session, we got off 80% of our order. Well, I'll just show you guys on the charts. Let's actually just go ahead and hop on the charts. Do I go to live? I'm gonna click. Can you guys do it on your end for me? Yeah. Just click that on your end, and then I'll switch over. Perfect. Thanks, man. All right, so we're actually going to go over some of the moves that took place yesterday. Now, if you missed the live that we did yesterday, we did a live yesterday morning. I didn't know till after the live that you guys couldn't hear me. On our end, it said that our audio was streaming to YouTube, but on YouTube's end, for some reason, it was blocked off. So we're not really sure what happened. As you guys know, I haven't been streaming for that long, and I'm really not a techie type of guy, but if you missed that, no worries. Okay, I'm going to be doing individual breakdowns on each of these trades here. All right, from Monday, but Monday we had a fantastic Monday. I took this trade during London, this trade during the PM session. I missed this trade during the AM session, but it wasn't bad at all. Right, so let's go ahead and break down the trade from yesterday. Sorry about that if you guys heard my phone go off. Some of my students are contacting me now, so asking me about their analysis and whatnot. So let's go ahead and put this on here. Where's my other one? So it should be the 15th. Okay, they're both available, so cool. All right, so first let's go over the first trade of yesterday before we get into the pre-market analysis. During the pre-market analysis, I'm essentially going to tell you guys what I'm waiting on and what I'm looking to take place within the market, right? But before we get into that pre-market analysis, let's go over the trades that took place yesterday. Okay, this trade here I am actually out of, but as you guys can see, it is still active, and that may actually play into our analysis for today. So this is going to be great content for you guys, especially if you're wanting to learn, okay, especially if you're wanting to learn. Now, let's go over the PM session trade first, since that's already up here and it's the most active. Let's go over the PM session trade second, since it is still active. Let's go over the AM session trade first, right? All right, so during the AM session, okay, essentially in between these lines here, I trade from 9:30 Eastern Standard Time to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then I start my PM session trading at 1. But really at 2, usually between the hours of 12 and 1:30, I'm usually at the gym. And then I usually get back to my charts around 1:32, unless an early entry takes place. So those of you guys that are live trading with me next week for the PM session, you guys will be trading with me at 1:30 Eastern Standard Time if you choose to trade the PM session. But you can also trade the AM session, or you can trade both. It's up to you completely, but I'll be trading both. So yesterday for our AM session, we had this M15 sweep of liquidity. Now, as you guys know, those of you guys who have access to my trade analysis, okay, that I update, we were looking for buys to take place first, at least sweep some type of liquidity. Well, in this case, this liquidity here, and then run to the downside, right? So we got very, very close to sweeping that liquidity. Price gave us a spike here, and then we continued to push to the downside. But that's essentially what I was anticipating, right? We knew we wanted to see price sell, right? But I wanted to first buy into this area here before selling off. It's okay that it didn't happen. Let's go. Let's break down this trade. Right, so here we have a sweep of our M15 liquidity. right? If we go to the M1 time frame where we took our entry, okay, after that sweep of liquidity took place, yeah, I don't know why it's not on here. Give me 1 second, guys, while I go to my object tree really quickly. Solid, here we go, perfect. So we had a sweep of M15 liquidity here, right? That is very, very important, okay? You need something that revolves around liquidity. Excuse me, guys, if you hear my phone. They're just my students. Contact me about their trades. Chris, can you actually go to my Telegram and just like answer as many questions as you can? Thank you. So as we can see here, after price sweeps liquidity, right, we're essentially looking for a momentum shift. We got that momentum shift over here, and then we entered based on this inefficient pricing that was offered and looked for price to continue to trade to the upside, right? Our stop loss was originally, here, right, at this swing low. Price tapped into that and then moved to the upside, right? Let me make sure you guys can. Eduardo, hi Mac. Check your email, please. Yes, Eduardo, I'm going to send you the live trading link as soon as we're done with this. I'll definitely have my team do that, right, in preparation for 9:30. Definitely got you covered, my friend. So as you guys can see, price traded into this inefficiency and then moved to the upside, right? Now, before we got off to the live trading session, right, I told everyone, go ahead and move your stops to break even, right? Price was dancing around this area here, slowly starting to push to the upside, but it looked like it was going to continue to push. So we moved our stops to break even, took a break even trade on the AM session, right? Now let's go ahead and break down the PM session trade. Also, I believe news is releasing now, if I'm not mistaken. So definitely keep that in mind, guys. So if we're breaking down the PM session trade, we can see here price sweeps our H1 liquidity, right? We have sell side liquidity here. Price sweeps that, right? So essentially we were on the M2 time frame, M1 time frame looking for our entry. Now the M2 gave a beautiful entry after this sweep of liquidity, right? As you guys can see here. So price essentially sweeps this liquidity here, right? We have a momentum shift, okay? And then we enter based on this imbalance here. All right, we also have a bullish order block. I didn't necessarily trade from this bullish order block, but this is excellent confluence. We could have actually taken our trade 50% of this inefficient pricing that was offered, right? To get a little bit of a better return on investment, but it's okay, right? Then we can see that, you know, price plays around just a little bit and then moves to the upside. This was not a bad trade whatsoever, right? If we go ahead and turn on my executions, give me 1 second, guys. Let's see. All right, let me sign in really quickly, guys, and then we'll turn on the executions. Let's see. So let me go to my trading panel. All right, let's connect to my TradeAvate account. Apologies if you guys continue to hear that. Those are just some of my students. All right, solid. So let's switch this back over. Perfect. Right, so this is where we entered the market right here, okay? We took off 80%. I took off 80% here. Feel free to check Instagram because I also posted this and I, posted I was going to take 80% off the table here. Even though this was our take profit, it looked like price was exhausting. We weren't really getting the bullish moves that I wanted to see, right? We can see here instead of, when price is pushing up, instead of just breaking through this area, we kind of dance around just a little bit. So once we get that next bullish candle and then that next bearish candle, this especially is a pin bar in my eyes. That is where I closed 80%. So let me show you guys 80% taken off the table. So we can do this here. Right, so we bought 10 contracts here. Okay, all right, at this inefficiency, excuse me, we took off 8 contracts here, right? And then I took off 2 contracts around the market close. But once I took off 2 contracts, it took off 2 contracts and then reversed the trade for some reason. It always does that when I do it on my phone and I'm on TradingView, trading like that. I have no idea how to turn that off on my phone, but it did it So then I had to buy back those two contracts that it reversed. So yeah, we ended up taking, the other 20% off here, just based on my rules. But as you guys can see, the trade is still active. We came very, very close to hitting our target of 40.65 handles there. And right now we're just floating in profit on this trade here. But that's not what you guys are here for. So that essentially covers yesterday's session. Now let's go over the pre-market analysis for today. And let's also go ahead and first let's turn these off because we don't need them anymore. And then let's also go ahead and hide our PM session and AM session so the charts can be a little bit more clean. Perfect. And let's also, actually we can leave the other ones because I have to do a trade breakdown for you guys. All right, so let's go ahead. And if you guys do have any specific questions, right, always feel free to ask. Definitely feel free to ask for sure. So let's go ahead and place our time on the chart. All right, so I can give you guys this pre-market analysis. If you guys do want access to my free Telegram, feel free to click the link in the description. Telegram is free, and those students who are part of the Telegram will get first dibs to the trading passes, right? The first week, we're going to have limited numbers for the trading passes. It's really going to be just first come, first serve. And the link for that is going to go out to the Telegram community first. So definitely, if you want access to the trading passes for next week, be sure to join the Telegram. Link is in the description, right? Just go ahead and mark this up really quickly for you guys. Okay, solid. So we're going to look for an entry somewhere around this area here, right? So we want to look for the liquidity around this, like around where price is right now. So we have relatively equal highs here, which is very, very important. Price does nothing on accident. So relatively equal highs here. So that's important liquidity that we may run on. Okay, we're going to continue to pay attention to the market. We have liquidity here that price is already spiked. We have liquidity here as well. Let's just place that there, right? And then we have liquidity down here. Now, before we, really break this down, let's go to the H1 time frame and see if anything is significant. So this is definitely significant in my eyes. This isn't quite as significant, especially given that price has already interacted with this liquidity, right? So we're really not going to pay attention to that all too much, okay? But this here is also important. Not as significant as, let's say, this here, okay? But it is still something that we could possibly pay attention to and trade from. So let's go back to the M15 time frame. So all these areas are areas where I'm going to be looking to see if price wants to run on. And if price does want to run on, then I'm going to be looking for some type of reaction. Now, based on what price is doing now, we can definitely see that we are pushing to the downside, right? We don't necessarily have to look on the higher time frame and pay attention to that all too much, simply because our main focus is going to be on day trading these moves, right? So because our main focus is going to be on day trading these moves, we don't necessarily have to look at the higher time frame all too much unless we're going to be thinking about possibly swing trading or holding the trade longer than, let's say, the session itself, right? So if we're looking at the H4 time frame, right, to me it's looking like we're going to push to the downside for sure, right? If we're looking at our bullish pushes versus our bearish pushes, we can see that with this nice bullish push, it took 1, 2, 3, 4 candles, okay? So 16 hours, all right? This bearish push here took 4 hours, all right? And it completely took out all the volume that was built up within 16 hours. So we're definitely in bearish territory right now. We're also within a daily imbalance. So that's something for us to also keep in mind. So we're overall looking for the lower time frames to push to the downside, right? That's what we're overall looking for. Now here we can see we not only have a sweep of liquidity to the upside, and then what does price do with this bearish candle? We then break our previous swing low, which is here, right? Which was why we were able to capitalize on this buy opportunity here, right? So based on how the higher time frame is looking and just connecting the dots, all of this here is pretty much good to go and mitigated. Like we don't really need to trade into this area all too much, to be honest with you guys. Like price stopping here I'm completely comfortable with. We've already ran this area here. We do have this bearish order block here. Not really something that I would trade from specifically, right? Especially with how the confluence is formed around this area. However, it is something that you can still take advantage of. You know, those concepts are not bad at all, right? Now, because of this, right, what I'll be looking for is for price to move to the downside. So in order for price to move to the downside, we have to sweep some type of buy side liquidity, right? So I'm going to be looking at what buy side liquidity do we have that price could possibly sweep, right? Now, there's two ways that price can get to that buy side liquidity. Either we will sweep sell side liquidity to then run on buy side liquidity to then push to the downside, or price is just going to buy to the upside to sweep liquidity, and then we just take the sell, right? Either or, we're going to more than likely have a day trade. And those of you guys that are students that are joining me at 9:30, super excited because it looks like we should have a pretty decent Wednesday. Normally, we don't really like trading Wednesdays, but should be a decent Wednesday. So there's a couple of ways that this could form. Make sure you guys are taking notes. The first way, okay, I'll go ahead and mark out. So I did it auditorially for those of you guys who learn from hearing. Now let's go ahead and do it visually. So the first opportunity that we could possibly have, okay, is price. Now that we've swept M15 sell side liquidity here, right? This may be enough for price to do what? It may be enough for price to move to the upside. We sweep these equal highs, and then we enter a sell position, and we start to target this region first, this region second, right? That's one option that we have, which is not a bad option at all. Second option that we have, okay, is price is going to push to the downside, sweep sell side liquidity. We could take that move to the upside throughout New York session because London did push to the downside. So this is something that could definitely happen, right? We could sweep sell side liquidity, push to the upside, tag buy side liquidity. So this would be our target here. And then for the PM session, we then target, this is our first target where we take our buys, and this is our second target, our H1 higher time frame low, right? So those are two options that we could possibly have as it relates to S&P 500. Now, if those things don't take place, more than likely I won't be in the market because that's the overall trade idea that I am playing off of. Now, I'm not saying that there are not other concepts that you can use within this area, but everything that we just broke down on the charts, that is all going to be extremely high probability for you guys to really be able to utilize and take advantage of, right? So that is going to be the pre-market analysis. So you guys can take screenshots and things like that. Let me go ahead and just, set the options that we have. So this is our first option here. Now, of course, I'm not just going to wait for price to sweep liquidity and take the sell. Of course, I need to see certain confluences take place, right? Whether you use a trend line break, whether you use support and resistance, support turn to resistance, whether you use supply and demand flips, right? You need to see some type of entry schematic take place within this area. Don't just take this trade, and it needs to be on a micro time frame. So it doesn't need to be on the M15. It needs to be on a lower time frame so you can catch that M15 candle to the downside if it wants to do so, right? Our second opportunity is going to be something like this here, where we're going to look for a possible buy opportunity, right? In order to sell. So we have two options here. Remember, guys, two options. So we'll look for price to sweep these relatively equal lows, okay, with those wicks. And then we'll look for price to then push to the upside. Now, we do have this swing low here as well, okay? Price could possibly utilize this swing low, or it could use it as inducement. So definitely keep that in mind. So this entry could be pushed up just a little bit, maybe to that area there, right? It would just depend on how the micro time frames are looking. Okay. So with that being said, how long have we been on the live? Not bad. Okay. So about 20 minutes. Okay. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. I don't want to talk you all's head off. Okay. We will be back to as soon as the live trading passes are ready to go. We will be back on live and on YouTube, but I want to do things differently. I want you guys to tell me, right, what types of questions you guys have so I can actually bring some value to the table, because it's one thing to do like trade breakdowns all the time, because I know a lot of you guys like those trade breakdowns, but it's another thing to actually focus on, what my community and what my supporters are in need of, right? So if you guys do have any specific questions, feel free to drop them. I definitely have you guys covered. I will catch you guys on the next live trading session. Much love and peace out.